What if I told you you could stretch your retirement savings by 3 to 4 times without moving to a faraway country and still be just 30 minutes from your loved ones in Singapore? Retiring in Johor Bahru or JB might just be the game-changer Singaporeans need in this era of rising living costs. But is it really that simple? What are the legal, financial, and lifestyle trade-offs? Stick with me till the end, because we're breaking down everything you need to know, from visa options, housing, healthcare, security, and the latest MM2H updates, so you can retire smarter and happier. And hey, if you're serious about taking control of your financial future, like this video, and hit that subscribe button to join our growing community here at Wealth for You. We're all about helping you retire well, not just in theory, but in reality. Hi everyone, welcome back to Wealth for You. If you're a Singaporean thinking about retirement and stretching your dollar, this video is for you. Today, we're talking about retiring in JB, covering cost of living, housing, transport, healthcare, improved security, and the latest updates on the MM2H program. Chapter 1. So, why are more Singaporeans eyeing JB for retirement? Well, first, there's the strong exchange rate. As of now, 1 Singapore dollar gets you around 3.36 ringgit. This means everything, from food to fuel, is way cheaper. Next, let's talk about cost of living. The average household expenditure in JB is about 1,500 Singapore dollars per month, compared to Singapore, where it's roughly 4,900 Singapore dollars monthly. And don't forget the proximity. You're just 20 minutes from Woodlands by car or bus. With the RTS Link, or rail, finishing up by the end of 2026, commuting will get even easier. Chapter 2. Now, do you need to own a home in JB? Let's clear this up. Singaporeans can technically stay in Malaysia for up to 30 days at a time under the Social Visit Pass. No visa required. And yes, you can rent a place in JB without buying property. But here's the catch. Every 30 days, you'll need to exit and re-enter Malaysia, which could be a bit of a hassle, unless you don't mind this. So if you're serious about retiring in JB long-term, it's way less hassle to apply for the Malaysia My Second Home, or MM2H visa, which just makes your stay legally clearer and more secure. The MM2H program, especially with the latest updates, gives you legal peace of mind and more stability. And we'll talk more about that in the next section. Chapter 3. Latest MM2H updates. Alright, let's talk about the latest updates to the Malaysia My Second Home, or MM2H program, as of April 17, 2025. The MM2H scheme has recently gone through a major revamp. Instead of a one-size-fits-all system, it now offers a tiered structure with 3 main levels: silver, gold, and platinum. One of the biggest changes is the removal of the old income and liquid asset requirements. Previously, applicants needed to show proof of offshore income and cash holdings. That's no longer necessary. Instead, what matters now is the fixed deposit you're able to place in a Malaysian bank, and the amount depends on your chosen tier. For silver, the minimum is 150,000 US dollars. For gold, it's 500,000 US dollars. For platinum, it jumps to 1 million US dollars. Good news! Up to 50% of your fixed deposit can be withdrawn after approval and used for things like buying property, education, healthcare, or even domestic tourism in Malaysia. However, there's now a mandatory property purchase requirement across all tiers. Here's what you'll need to commit to. Silver tier means a property worth at least 600,000 ringgit, though this amount can vary by state. Gold tier requires a minimum of 1 million ringgit. Platinum tier is 2 million ringgit. Do note, any property purchased under MM2H cannot be sold for 10 years, unless you're upgrading to a more expensive one. As for visa duration, each tier offers different levels of commitment. Silver is 5 years, renewable. Gold is 15 years, renewable. Platinum is 20 years, renewable. There's also a minimum stay requirement. You must stay in Malaysia for at least 90 days per year. MM2H also supports bringing your family along. Eligible dependents include your spouse, unmarried children below 34, and your parents or in-laws. There's no age limit for children with medical disabilities. And if you're a platinum applicant, you can even bring along a foreign domestic helper. It's important to note that MM2H rules and regulations can change, so it's always advisable to check the latest official announcements from the Malaysian Immigration Department or the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture for the most up-to-date information. Chapter 4. Getting around in JB. So, when it comes to getting around in Johor Bahru, public transport is, well, pretty limited, especially if you're used to Singapore's MRT and bus network. For retirees who value, flexibility and convenience, relying solely on buses just isn't practical. That's why most retirees in JB either own a car, like a Proton Saga, which costs under 10,000 Singapore dollars brand new, no COE to worry about. Or they use Grab, which is Malaysia's version of ride-hailing apps. It's widely available, convenient, and really quite affordable. And here's the best part. Petrol is heavily subsidized in Malaysia, around 350 ringgit per litre for RON 97. That's significantly cheaper than Singapore's petrol prices, making day-to-day transport a lot more wallet-friendly. So, whether you prefer to drive or just tap an app, getting around in JB is easy and affordable, especially compared to Singapore. Chapter 5. Healthcare in JB. So, let's talk about healthcare in JB. The city is quickly becoming a rising medical tourism hub, with private hospitals like Gleneagles Medini offering, honestly, top-notch care. Treatments here can be up to 70% cheaper than in Singapore. And that's even without subsidies, which is pretty amazing. But just a heads up, you'll want to get Malaysian health insurance, because your Singapore plans most likely won't cover you there. Chapter 6. Security has improved. Now, about security. JB used to have a pretty bad reputation, but things have improved significantly over the years. You'll find more gated communities now, plus police presence and surveillance have really been stepped up in areas with lots of expats. Of course, you'll still want to avoid sketchy areas and use common sense, just like you would anywhere else. Still, let's be real. JB isn't Singapore, so stay alert, but don't get too paranoid. Chapter 7. Pros and cons of retiring in JB. Alright, let's weigh the pros and cons of retiring in JB. On the plus side, you get huge savings thanks to the exchange rate, a lower cost of living, and, like we mentioned, cheaper healthcare. You're also close to family in Singapore, get to enjoy modern condos, great food, and a bit more freedom. On the flip side, public transport isn't great, so you might need to drive or rely on Grab. Safety standards are a bit lower compared to Singapore, and you'll need to manage your visa or MM2H application. Chapter 8. Is JB right for your retirement? Well, retiring in JB isn't just for those who can't afford Singapore. It's also for folks who want a bit more freedom, better value, and a fresh, slower pace of life just across the causeway. Whether you're planning to fully relocate, go back and forth between JB and Singapore, or just keep it as a backup option, retiring in JB could honestly be one of the smartest financial moves you make in your golden years. I'd really love to hear from you. Would you consider retiring in JB? Or is it a hard pass for now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Wealth for You, and share it with someone who's planning their retirement journey too. Thanks for watching Wealth for You. Until next time, retire smart, live well.